Hello, my name is Marty Thompson of League1Ontario.com and CanPL.ca. Today, fortunate enough to present to you the third of three big club signings in League One Ontario. Simcoe County Rovers FC joining for the 2022 season with men's and women's teams. I'll be chatting with Julian de Guzman, and you probably know that name already, but for those uninitiated, Canada's all-time caps leader on the men's side, formerly Toronto FC. He mentions his time at Ottawa Fury, but a stalwart in the Canadian soccer scene for a long time. And we talk about his need to give back and his need for people like Kyle Larin of Besiktas and the Canadian men's national team, who's an investor in this club, to give back to the game in this country. And that starts in League One. Julian is fortunate enough with this time to give us a little bit of a teaser of some other owners that could be coming into the fold here at Simcoe County. Talks about the supporters group out there and all the work that's been done as they lead up to the 2022 season and beyond. You mentioned some Canadian championship as well. It's exciting if they ever get to play York United. Big aspirations with this club, as with Pickering FC and Electric City Football Club announced earlier this week. So without further ado, here's Julian de Guzman, president of Simcoe County Rovers. And we're now joined by Julian de Guzman. Big day for the club, Julian. A lot of work has been poured into this club already, and we're going to get to that. But can you maybe just give, for the people uninitiated, just talk about this project, how it all came together and what's put you there today?
Yeah, no, it's, this is a dream for us. And, myself, Peter Racco, Will DeVellis, we have been involved in many conversations about, League One and how do we, develop a team, semi-pro team out of the Huronia region. And, it was, again, a lot of experiences that we had to deal with on our end, and, how to do it, why to do it, and where. And I think all the names I've mentioned coming together, really allowed us to develop something, organically and, based on our soccer knowledge and also, just the way the direction soccer is going in this country. The timing of it is just perfect to, start up a team in this region. So, the Huronia region itself, we're looking at 10,000 plus kids who play out of that region, 17 academy teams and our grassroots teams that play out of that region. Berry Soccer being, the strongest in that region. So having them on board as an affiliate has been, a great start. And then, we've implemented other affiliates that's developing the Simcoe County Rovers brand, such as Aurora Football Club, AI Academy out of Orangeville. So teaming up, with these high performance teams really gives us that, solid platform and base to spring off of and start up, a men's and women's senior team, which is the Simcoe County Rovers FC. So, it's needed. It's needed in a region that is starving for high performance soccer. And, some of the co-owners, Kyle Larin being one of them that we announced, it just shows the type of quality of individuals we want to create, something unique as well, something that has never been done before for soccer in Canada, where, you're having, pros who are currently playing the game and also giving back, their knowledge and their experiences while they're playing as, you develop a semi-pro team in the region. So we're extremely excited about it. And, we have a lot of the long-term wishes and goals that we want to achieve, but in the short term, we just want to get this thing started and have a men's and women's team playing by 2022.
Well, we'll talk about Kyle Larin here now then, because I think Simcoe County Rovers has to be the only League One Ontario club ever mentioned during a Champions League game. I'm not sure if you caught that or not.
Yeah,
Someone sent that along. That was fantastic. Just talk a little bit about his involvement. And, obviously he's a League One Ontario player, which is fantastic to see a player get back involved in the league at this level. But just talk a little bit about his involvement and really what spurred him to get involved.
Yeah, no, you mentioned it, former player who had actually played in the league, when I was playing with Kyle, and some of the other players as well, this has been a conversation, we've had many times on many occasions where, how does a player like himself or other guys are able to get their foot in the door and, give back. And, they have a very, very, well in tuned knowledge and experience playing the game. But being able to come back home, how do they prepare themselves? So this actually all started when, if I go back to 2014, I had a chance to, look at League One. League One just launched, and it was fairly new. And I was talking to a close buddy of mine, Courtney James, who actually runs the AI Academy group. And back then, we were already talking about how do we, give back to the game. And I was still actively playing, but it allowed me to do some research and dig in to what's really happening in North America, which actually led to me signing with Ottawa Fury in 2015, coming back and try to understand the landscape of soccer in Canada. So Kyle Larin getting that head start. He's obviously in Turkey, playing his football, but he's not here often to really know what's going on. So I think this is kind of the pathway to create for active players to allow them to be involved in the culture of soccer in Canada. Yes, they do play for the national team and they do represent the country, but do they know what's going on a day-to-day basis in terms of, the grassroots and the development of the game? And that's always been a wish. We've seen Kyle, take part in, coaching clinics, or not even, camps in their breaks. And, not even just Kyle. I've seen Jonathan Rosario come together, David Monsalve. There's a lot of names I've, seen. Daniel Henry as well. That took part in a camp that my brother started in called Soul Soccer. And, these guys want to be involved, but they just don't have the time, or nobody's really there to, kind of give them that support. So this is what this represents. And Kyle, he's super excited about it. And this is something that, we've always wanted for not just ourselves, but hopefully this becomes a trend for many other footballers, Canadian footballers who are actively playing both on men's and women's. And, that's a conversation we keep having, not just with Kyle himself, but many others who will be announced in the near future.
What a tease that is. So there's been quite a bit of work done on your side. The same with Electric City. We announced them obviously yesterday from League One Ontario. There's a lot of work that's already been done. Like you already sort of touched on David Monsalve being part of the women's coaching staff, like Victor Opong being part of the men's. Like just talk about some of those building blocks that have already started to frankly come together for you guys.
Yeah, our technical staff, we have an awesome, both men's and women's technical staff. And these are guys I've played with, I've worked with, whether I was on the national team, whether I was with Ottawa Fury as a GM. So Audra Sherman to be one of them as the on the women's side, and given her, her credits of a national team's coaching in terms of A license. There's nothing like it for the women's game. So it's great to have her on that spectrum. She's going to be involved with David Monsalve, who just recently retired, but wants to get involved in developing the game. So, those two have worked together themselves at Ottawa Fury. So that was a no-brainer to have those two involved. Victor Opong, former, captain of the U20s, and he's spent well over a decade, playing and coaching and getting his UEFA license in Germany, one of the hardest places in the world to actually obtain a UEFA license. So, he's bringing that back to Canada, as well as a CSA license, and he's becoming one of those complete coaches we would like to see kind of have throughout this level of football in League One. I think if you could have more coaches with that level, it's going to become a safer environment for a lot of kids to develop. And, Victor being involved on the men's side, alongside with Derek O'Keefe, who has a lot of experience in League One. It's pretty much the perfect team. So yeah, it's something that, I think for me, I'm not just excited to have, but I think it's just extremely needed at this level. There's many coaches out there that deserve a chance, and they should have a chance. There's many coaches that still need to develop and grow to those high levels of coaching and being able to bring it back at League One. Because for us, we look at League One as a very high level. And, it's done a lot. You look across the national team, how many players have played in League One? You look in the the CPL itself, a lot of players are graduating from League One and jumping into those high ranks. So that's what we want to be able to bring to the table, high quality coaches that will eventually develop and grow, quality players to make that jump to those type of levels.
And then also the work being done with, I guess, more of the off the field, like we mentioned just before we hit record about the Barbarians, the supporters group. You guys already getting out in the community. Just talk a little bit about that.
No, it was great to meet up with Brandon, both Brandons and Shelly, who are kind of leading the Barbarian group. And, I had myself, Peter Racco, we had dinner with them last week. And everything just went well. These guys have, great knowledge, and Shelly, who follows and kind of runs the Rangers supporters group in Toronto, and she's done a great job doing that. Brandon, both Brandons are, big Bayern fans, and they take charge in the lead of the Bayern group. And the connection itself, it's right there in front of your face when you talk about Bayern and national teams. So, they had a chance to meet Alphonso Davies, and, they have a very good understanding of what is needed for a supporters group, and, the knowledge that they bring and what they want to create now out of Barrie. The ideas, it's mind blowing. I won't share all of them, but
keep some for when we hit the field.
Yeah, no, I'll keep most of them. But some of the stuff, I played in Germany. I know what the fan bases are like in Germany, and you seeing how those fans, are involved, not just on the field, but also off the field. And, the stuff that both Brandons and Shelly are doing for the region, they're there to really help and connect the community throughout Barrie. And, we want to be able to have the Barbarians, be the forefront in terms of the voice of Simcoe County, once we're launched. So we're excited. We have tons of things that we're dealing with in the works, but, the Barbarians will definitely be a group that will be heard 2022.
So just to kind of put a bit of a bow on this, Julian, because, this is the third club of the week and three big announcements for this league, frankly, when it comes to Pickering, Electric City, and yourselves. Maybe the question is, let's say in 5 years, what do you want this club's impact to be? Because the aspiration's there from you, the aspirations are there from the other clubs. So what do you want the impact to be, and what are some of those goals that you'd want to achieve?
Well, first, if you're talking about, an all-star ownership group, Kyle's one of them we mentioned, and, we'll start to announce more of them down the road. But, the conversations we've been having, these are high-level conversations in terms of what we want to grow from a development standpoint, semi-pro standpoint. And the reason why, we have these high expectations is because it's not just the knowledge we bring back, but we just know that there's quality out there that needs to be recognized. And it just needs an environment for them to, walk into and grow. So that being said, AI, let's look at AI, for instance, and what they've done as our reserve team for the men's side. In year one, in League One, they've clinched playoffs already. It's the youngest team in the reserve league right now, and they're already making noise by being one of the best teams. So there is going to be a tons of talent coming out of that area, and we'll start to see a lot of those names, some of those names in Simcoe County's senior team 2022. But then they get themselves a platform to play on, and our goal is to not just to win titles and trophies for the League One level, but to find ourselves playing in the Canadian Championship 2023. So that's been the message throughout the board, throughout the club. Everybody knows that all the interviews that the coaches and GMs have been having with players is talking about, we want to be a winning team, and getting ourselves Simcoe County, if we're announced when we're up against York United in 2023 for a Canadian Championship game. That's one of the near-term goals that we want to develop for this group. And what that leads to, on a consistent basis, going into year 4, year 5, if we're the dominant team coming out of this region or coming out of this the league in Ontario, that has a lot to say in terms of what type of attraction will that bring. So from a fan standpoint, we also want to have not just the best fans, in the region, but also the best fans in the league. So speaking with the group of the Barbarians, they're bringing a lot of high quality ideas and standards that we need to see. And, we want to create a unique atmosphere throughout the league where, not just the opposition is entertained by it, but, people are talking about it, on a nationwide basis. And then what that generates too is, what happens in the community from a sponsorship side point, maybe there might be now the niche or somewhat of a conversation like, hey, this looks like an interesting project. Why not take this to a higher level? And that highest level for soccer in Canada in terms of domestic leagues is the CPL. So, year 4, year 5, if there's ever the conversation in the earlier stages that, this is a CPL team and this is what we're kind of using as our guidelines, based on how we want to develop the branding, based on how we want to apply coaches and players, the CPL is the threshold or the way that we want to kind of build around this club. And I think that's our ultimate goal, is to get there, year 4, year 5, based on the success, based on the coaches that we bring on board, and also the ownerships that we have in terms of names that you'll see involved. So, that overall, that's the kind of the big picture in terms of what we want to develop and build. But in the near future, I mean, it's important that we kind of set the pillars, and we've already hired all these coaches this year to start recruiting, not just in League One, not just in OUA, but also in CPL, players that they feel could be the difference makers and really be the best team in League One. But these guys are been going to work, and we're talking on a twice, 3 times a week sometimes basis, without even training yet, on how do we want to recruit and really create this on a professional level.
Julian, I know you've got a son to catch up with there in the background, but I'll let you have the final word. Anything else on Simcoe County Rovers that you wanted to get off your chest here?
No, this is, I think, kind of a message from, not just myself, but many of us on what we would like to see happen, for many other professionals, former pros, current pros. I think there's a lot to be said in terms of what, could be created for a lot of these guys to give back on. I mean, yes, we see a lot of ex-pros and former pros, coaching, but I think in terms of getting involved in developing, a philosophy in a league such as League One or PLSQ, and what was recently announced, BC League One as well. I mean, this is awesome. This is exactly what we need to see more of, and if we could see these type of clubs being developed throughout the country, I think everyone kind of has their honest passion and eyes on one thing, and then that's having a World Cup, both men's and women's team. So I mean, to be a part of this now, you couldn't ask for a better time. And again, we're extremely excited, and we can't wait for more announcements to come your way. But yeah, we're thrilled. We're absolutely thrilled.
No kidding, Julian. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Marty. Appreciate it.